Take a look at this example here. We have sodium chloride liquid forming into sodium and chlorine gas. Now, this reaction could be divided into half reaction. On the left, I will put oxidation, and on the right, I will write the reduction process. First, for the oxidation reaction. So we have chlorine. So here's my chlorine minus, okay? And then that forms into Cl2 gas. I'm going to put a 2 here because I want to be consistent with the coefficient of 2. Now, the oxidation number for chlorine minus, this is -1. For chlorine gas, this is 0. So therefore, we need to add 1 electron in order for it to go from -1 to 0 on the right-hand side. So we need to show that one of the electron has come out. But it's using 2 chlorines. So therefore, I'm going to write 2 electrons plus 2 electrons. Now on the right side, so this one was an oxidation side. On the reduction side, we have sodium plus, okay, and then that's 2 sodium, and that goes to 2Na liquid. The oxidation number in this case is going +1 to 0. Now, because there's +1, we need to think about that is actually going from +2 to 0. So we're adding in 2 electrons. Essentially, we can say that the 2 electrons coming from chloride is going towards the sodium to form into sodium liquid that is neutral. This reaction is actually thermodynamically unfavorable, meaning this is a non-spontaneous process. It will require some kind of electricity or battery in order for this reaction to occur. Now, whereas the other way around, right, that is spontaneous, is thermodynamically favorable. In a case like this where we require some kind of battery source or an electrical source in order for this process to happen, we're dealing with a cell called the electrolytic cell. So here is an example of an electrolytic cell. In the anode, that's where the oxidation reaction is occurring. So anode is referring to this oxidation process. In the cathode, it's referring to the reduction process. So let's go ahead and label that. So that's the half oxidation process I just wrote on the left, and then my reduction process on the right. It's the same deal, okay? And then I want to label one more thing that in right here in this area is the molten NaCl or NaCl liquid. This does not need to be separated. In galvanic cell, you might have seen a total separation of for two different oxidation and reduction reaction. But for an electrolytic cell, it doesn't have to separate. It could be in one compartment. Let's look at a little more closer to this electrolytic cell. Before I move on, I need to give you the definition of electrolysis, which is it's a process where electricity is used to drive the non-spontaneous chemical reaction occur. So although this cell is called the electrolytic cell, the process is called the electrolysis, meaning that you're utilizing electricity to drive the non-spontaneous reaction to occur. All right, now let's look at more closely. So we have the zoomed in version, and again, the oxidation reaction is occurring in the anode. Okay, this is where electron is being pulled out, and you see electron is being pulled out from the anode here, and it's going to go through the voltage source. Now, the voltage source here is like a battery, and then that process requires two of the chlorine minus. It's two electrons are coming from the two chlorine minus, and that causes the chlorine to form gas. So you see little bubbles right here. That bubble really means chlorine gas. Okay, and you'll see chlorine gas forming on this anode side. On the right-hand side is where the cathode is. There should be an E over here on the corner, cathode. And this is where reduction is occurring, and that's where sodium plus combined with two electrons, so two sodium plus combined with two electrons, forming a sodium liquid that is neutral. Now let's do a learning check based on what we have learned so far. So we got the anode and the cathode that we're trying to find in this electrolytic cell based on the reaction below. So we have sodium fluoride instead of chlorine. We have chloride, we have fluoride, and then we have sodium and fluoride, fluorine gas, okay? So let's go with the anode first. So on the left side, we have our anode. And this is where oxidation reaction is occurring. And we have the cathode. And that's my reduction is happening. Reduction reaction. Okay. So for the anode, we have, or the oxidation, we have fluoride minus. Now, if you're wondering where did the minus come from, it's because the sodium fluoride, well, when they combine together, this is an ionic compound, so sodium must have +1 charge and fluorine must have a -1 charge. Just to let you know where that's coming from, okay? And then we have two of them here that lets me know there's two fluoride here. It's liquid, and where's that coming from? That's coming from this phase here, and that's going towards fluorine gas. Okay, and then so therefore we can look at the oxidation number, and this is -1, this is 0, and then so we can write 2 electrons here since we're dealing with 2F minus, so it's essentially -2, right? On the cathode side, we have 2 sodium, and that's going towards 2 sodium. That's plus, and then this one is neutral. And so the oxidation number for sodium plus is +1, for sodium is 0. And so we need to add electron here, and we're going to add 2 electrons to let you know that because we're dealing with 2 sodium. So on the left side, this is the half reaction for the anode, and on the cathode side, this is the half reaction on the cathode side. Now recall the definition of electrolysis. It's a process where electricity is used to drive a non-spontaneous chemical reaction to occur. And we went over sodium chloride. Now here we're going to do a little different one. It's called electroplating. I want to give you this explanation of this image and then tell you what this electroplating is all about and how that's related to electrolysis. Here you have silver. On the right hand side, there's some cheapy metal, maybe it might be copper. What we're trying to do in this image is to plate this spoon with this silver. If you ever get like a earring, right, like a sterling silver earring, it's not fully silver. It's just coated on top of maybe a nickel that's like a cheaper metal inside, but that outer area is definitely silver. And how do they do this? Well, they do this by this thing called electroplating, and it relates to electrolysis because it's going to pull away that electron, causing that silver to travel through to the spoon. So over here, look, if you look here, these are all silver solid and they're all neutral. So Ag, and this is solid and it's neutral. Well, one electron is being pulled in this direction. It's going from the anode. So if I were to write this, it's silver solid, and then it's forming into silver plus aqueous, and one electron has been pulled out, and that electron's being pulled out is done by the battery because this is a non-spontaneous reaction. And then the electron is now traveling towards the spoon, towards where the cathode side is. And what's happening there? Reduction is occurring. By how? Well, there is a reduction process where the silver plus that's floating around in the solution, well, they're regaining that electron back because the silver is attracted, that positive charge is attracted to the electron that's coming here. It's going to travel towards the spoon, and then so they're going to introduce electrons again. So now on this side, what's happening is here's my silver plus in aqueous form. It's regaining that one electron, forming into silver solid. And as it's doing that, it's being coated on top of this spoon. And that's what electroplating really is. It's a process when you take one type of a metal and then you're coating it on top of another metal. And this process is an electrolysis process because it requires battery, since it's a non-spontaneous reaction. We can do an example problem based on the electroplating. Here's an example problem that you might see in the exam. Gold can be plated out of a solution containing gold 3 plus according to the half reaction. So here's my gold 3 plus forming into gold solid. Okay, so this is something that's sort of happening in the anode side where cathode side where reduction is happening. It's asking for what mass in gram of gold is plated by 25-minute flow of the 5.5 ampere current. Now there is this new unit, A, right? That's ampere. What is ampere? That's how much electron is flowing through. It's the rate of electron flowing through the wires. Okay, so this A right here, okay, this is called ampere, and this refers to the rate at which electrons flow through through a wire. Okay, so ampere is also known as coulomb per second, right? Per second, coulomb, the electron flow per second. So it's because it's a rate. Now we're going to take this and if you recall doing lots of unit conversion, that will come in handy. So we're trying to find something in grams. We're going to start off with 25 minutes. Somehow we're going to do a bunch of calculations so that in the very end, we're trying to get grams of gold by looking at 25 minutes. Okay, well, look at the ampere. It's coulomb per second. So probably something to do with second would be really nice. So this S represents second. I'll put SEC just in case. So let's go ahead and convert the minute to second. So 25 minutes, and we know every 1 minute there are 60 seconds, right? Okay, so we're kind of getting there. Well, we can look at the ampere. We can say that every 5.5 coulomb per second. Okay, for 1 second. This, where am I getting the 5.5? That's here. That's this 5.5 ampere. But then we're taking the ampere out and we're putting it as coulomb per second so that the second could cancel. So here, minutes could cancel, second could cancel. How do I get rid of the coulomb? We could get rid of the coulomb by utilizing the Faraday constant over here. That's going to give you 96485 coulomb, and the top is going to be mole times electron. Okay, so the coulomb could kind of cancel out. Electrons could cancel out by looking at how much electron are we transferring from gold 3 plus to gold solid. So what is going on here? There is an oxidation reaction. So I'm sorry, this is a reduction reaction, and this is 3 plus and this is 0. So we know that in this process, it requires 3 electrons to be added in order for this reduction to occur. So therefore, we can multiply this by 1 over 3 electron. Why 3 electron on the bottom? So we can cancel out the electrons. Lastly, this mole. How do we get to moles to grams? Well, we look at the molar mass of gold. Look in your periodic table and find the molar mass of gold. And it should say that the mass of gold is 196.97 grams for every 1 mole. And that causes the mole to cancel out like this. Now, we have a lot of numbers here. We're going to calculate all this out. So I'm going to multiply everything on top divided by everything on the bottom. So on top, we have 25 times 60 times 5.5 times 1 times 196.97. Okay, and I'm going to divide it by everything on the bottom, which is 1 times 1 times 96485 times 3 times 1. Close the parentheses, and you get 5.61. Sorry, 5.6. And grams of gold. This is how much gold is plated in that 25 minutes with this particular current flow. All right, so you're going to try something very similar. This one is going to start off with 12 grams of silver, okay, from AG solution, and you're going to use a current of 3.0 ampere. Now, what it's asking for is, okay, well, how long will it take in order to plate 12 grams of silver with this particular rate of electrons flowing through? So try this and come back and check this video. Here is the key. I didn't cancel anything out so that I can show you where what units are being utilized. So utilize the units very carefully and place them in the right direction so that the answer in the end becomes 60 minutes. You might have some rounding error or some rounding. It might have it as 59. That's okay too. This would be actually 60 point.